Displacement is what happens to low-income people when they are forced out of their neighborhoods involuntarily due to economic forces, particularly a sharp rise in housing prices.
A big piece of it is being pushed out, priced out, or a force that happens to you, sort of involuntarily, that forces people to have to change, transition, and leave their communities and their neighborhoods and their cities. And that's residents, that's homeowners, that's renters, that's businesses, really people experiencing this very rapid hyper change that they feel like they can't somehow navigate.
I would define displacement as a lack of choice. So of forcing out, where the resident is not choosing to move out of the neighborhood, but is feeling pressure or is overtly being pressured to move out of the neighborhood and to move out of the neighborhood into probably a neighborhood with less opportunity.
Forces that make it impossible for residents who have been longtime residents to continue to live in a community.
The way we think about displacement is when market forces are putting people in a position where they have to make choices that they would ordinarily not be making, where the market is making a choice for a family as opposed to a family deciding that they, want to move.
Now, there are different degrees of displacement. You have displacement where you have landlords or bad actors who are actually, because of the increasing market value of their assets, are now looking to exploit that and are doing either illegal or unethical things to be able to push people out.
If you're for-profit, by definition, your job is to make a profit. So you could be even a decent person and not do anything illegally, but you want to make your money, you want to get your margins. A lot of times the guys that come in to own buildings there are using someone else's money. And that money comes with strings and expectations and expected rates of return, and sometimes the only way to get those rates of return is to displace people.
They're being faced with tremendous amount of pressures to leave, buyout offers. They are sometimes being deprived of essential services, repairs, elevators stop working, which particularly places disabled folks and senior citizens at great risk.
If you want to go down to the East Village or Lower East Side, people going around with sledgehammers and knocking down people's apartment doors while they're at work, so when they come home, their apartments are wide open and ransacked. Or fixing the plumbing and turning off the water for a month at a time, or the electrical service or whatever. So, you have a whole spectrum of ways of getting rid of people.
It's huge. It might be that you're coming home from the store and you're checking the mailbox, which is broken because there are no front lock doors, and so people are breaking into mailboxes, and knowing that you're a senior citizen and that your monthly check is not going to be there, and worrying about how you're therefore going to pay your rent and how you're going to be able to buy food, how you're going to pay your utilities.
Where people live is really very important. It's the social bonds that they create. It's not only the physical environment, it's not only the real estate environment, it's not only the financial issues there, it's not only the building, but it's the whole network of interrelationships that they've developed over a period of time.
So the challenge for LIST New York City is to figure out how we get more real estate assets under the ownership of mission-driven organizations, community development corporations and others who are inclined to see values that maybe get lost in our sort of typical financial models. So we work with folks who have the technical skill and the capacity to develop real estate, but who are looking at a bigger picture and are infused with a set of common values around equitable development.